All right, what's up, folks? It is another episode of the Casting Couch. We made it to episode 4. We going strong. We going strong. That
Let's
part.
go. Yes.
Towards the money, member.
That part. That part. We are your co-hosts, Kennedy Scribecastro, Ray Johnson, Ani Crown. And we gonna get straight into it. This week has really just kind of been like all over the place with the world, society, and everything. But I'll kick it off with this. I literally had a conversation this morning with another actor. I won't say his name. He'll eventually be on as a guest on our show. He's really dope. But he's an upcoming actor, right? Kind of like in the bubble, right? So there's our superstars. Those are people who are like on ABC, Fox, main people, right? Then there's kind of like everything in between, which is like you pop in on an episode here and there, or you've been in a few movies, etc., right? And then there's like upcoming, like I'm just getting started, maybe one or two things. So he's really kind of like in the bubble, but he's not necessarily a clickable face. And so the question that he asked me on the phone was like, okay, so why don't people just get like, put together like a limited series, right? With like 5 to 6 just really amazing actors, right? And what I was telling him, I said, well, because unless you're on ABC, Fox, or one of the main ones where you're kind of just baked into their financial system, meaning it's getting paid for regardless, your checks are your checks, right? If you're on the independent side of things, I said, it literally is better to put, like Jamal Woolard in, right? And whatever performance you're gonna get from him is what you're gonna get from him, but he's gonna get clicks, right? And then to have somebody who would quote unquote be not saying he's not a good actor, but a different level tier, or like a theatrical type of an actor, right? And then nobody knows who that person is. And so I was trying to explain kind of like the business structure behind it. And so I wanted you guys to kind of chime in on what your thoughts are. Like, why is the industry the way it is when it comes to upcoming actors, quote unquote, great actors, and then clickable faces? What are your thoughts?
Well, when it comes to a limited series, that's gonna be the star banger, meaning like that's gonna have a lot of stars in it because it's limited. It's probably 6 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So that's about it, like the miniseries. So it's like, with that being said, you're gonna need a lot of people that can carry it, not just Jamal, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need more. So that's why when it comes to us, or I'm assuming they want to see if we can hold up 4 to 5, maybe even 6 seasons. You know what I mean? Because we only get 10 episodes. Like, look at everybody else.
Nowadays, you don't even get 10 episodes. You
Yeah,
don't
you
even get
probably get
that.
8. Yeah, you probably
Yeah.
getting 8. But 10 was max, even with when Power first started. So let's go back that far. You get what I'm saying? Like, 10 was max. Other ones getting 16, 22, all that. You know what I mean? So it's to a point where they're like, can you hold down 3 to 4 seasons with 8 to 10 episodes? You know what I mean? So to come with the limited series, I'm not agreeing with the industry, but I can see why they doing that, because that's how they look at us. We're looking from that lens right now. So with that being said, that's what I think with that. But can we do it? Yes, we have the black stars to do that.
Yeah, but
So
my thing is the financial aspect of things. I think a lot of actors don't understand the
understand that
financial
part.
aspect.
Yeah,
They don't understand the back end. Yeah,
Right.
Johnny.
I think the same way too. I feel like the back end is everything. The financial aspects, at the end of the day, everybody want to get paid for what they do. You know what I'm saying? And these big companies have it set up, even though we're now seeing that most of these, actors that have like very, very long resumes, like that stem back to the 80s. Like I seen this actor, he actually was like going off about his check was in the sense. And he was saying how that show, and there's a show we all know, we all watched as kids, was a successful show that ran forever. I mean, one of those type of shows that you could still watch. Like, you know what I'm saying, type shit on one of those like Family Matters type shit. You know what I'm saying? It still comes on even though they shot it 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But it wasn't Family Matters, it was another show. But his checks was like really nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I guess when you get on these type of shows, they take care of you for the meantime or whatever. But years later, your shit dwindles. So I feel as if, yeah, they have baked in financial status to take care of those particular actors. But many years later, doesn't kind of really, the tune is a different tune they sing it. So I feel as if it's better to just we have to as a create our own conglomerate to help each other. You know what I'm saying? Especially with black actors. Like there's a lot of black actors that are out of jobs, you know what I'm saying? And even if they're given a job, it's probably one season. Right? If you ain't like with Tyler Perry or somebody, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's the only one who got longevity. Tyler Perry keep you
Yeah,
employed for 10 years.
You know,
yeah.
you know,
Him and Oprah
him and
Yeah.
Oprah too. You know, if you're not with that clique or 50 Cent is another one.
and that
Okay, 50
click
and
and
50. We
50
gonna give
and 50. We
50.
got 50 get in there. Yes,
So it's a very
it's
limited.
actually Courtney, but okay, 50. Let's say
Yeah,
50.
Yeah.
it's a limited, amount of people that we have within our own culture that can actually pull that financial back up, you know what I'm saying, to make us kind of have some type of longevity. Whew, it's rough out here.
Yeah,
It's just it's Go ahead. Go ahead, Ray.
and the thing is, but you said something that made me think of this. The actors that's B list. Do we want to go there, or we just want to say, the middle of the road?
Let's just
You
say
know,
less well known. Less well
let's let.
known.
Well, they're known. Okay, so I'm saying like the ones that's on like BT Plus and
Okay.
Mhm.
Just
even
say not on the big four, cause that's what it is. Like, cause technically, it doesn't mean you're not known if you're on your shows on BET Plus, cause we know you, right?
right
You're not on the big four. You're not on ABC, Fox. What's the other one? CBS
and
and
NBC,
one more. Is
NBC.
it NBC? Yeah, you're just not on the big four, but that doesn't mean you're
Okay,
not known. But go ahead.
okay. So you're there. And you feel like, oh, when I finish my show, I'm not working. Well, why don't you use your resources and everything else to create? You may not, I can't write. Okay, I'm sure you know a writer. I'm sure there's a writer that's come across you that you can meet with, read some stuff and see, hey, let's get something going. If not, how about you go talk to the writers on the show? Hey, what's up? They have friends. Writers is a small world. They're going to
Yeah,
connect.
that's true.
So it's ways for you to get content out and you can be in control of that content. You know what I mean? Come together, y'all get together and put the money together, make a film, make up.
They don't
You
wanna
know
do it.
what?
Imma just say it, they don't wanna do it. I guess I'm the
Exactly.
one on the show who constantly gonna let it rip, but Imma let it
You let
rip.
it go.
They don't wanna do it. They don't wanna do the work that it
That
requires in
So
requires.
why do
order
you
for you
think
to
it is?
it's laziness. There's no other excuse for it
Is
because
it
it's not a lack of information because like Ray said, even if you don't know how to do it, you have enough of a name to say, "Okay, let me go get such and
You
such
have the
rights,
resources.
such and
Yeah.
such produces, such and such directs. All I have to do is just put them in a room. And I don't have to be the smartest person in the room, but I'm the one with the face. So the face is what's going to help us get paid, right? Great. I could put everybody else in the room with me. They don't want to do the work. It is so much easier. And I'm going to say this, just being blunt. It is easier to memorize a script. And mind you, this is not a takeaway from what actors do on set. You guys do amazing things on set. But it's a lot easier to do that than to do all of the stuff that it requires to produce, to direct, to write, to get people there. It's me and Ray know because I've done it
You've
on
done
both
it.
sides.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been on
yeah.
both sides of the camera. It is way easier for me to show up and just be an actress, right, on set. I only have to worry about one, maybe two things versus being a director, producer, writer, blah, blah. So they don't want to do it. They just want the
but it's way more fun and it's way more fulfilling. So why don't they for me, I think it's deeper than that. I think a lot of it is when you get babysitted a lot, right? And pampered and you feel as if you want and it's for lack of a better word, princess treatment, you know what I'm saying, has basically devoured your creative process. You know what I'm saying? You've basically just you don't want to deal with the aspect of being a creator no more or a creative no more. You just want to sit there, look pretty. To give you an example, I had a conversation with a person that's very successful. She's an actress. She's been in a lot of things since forever. And I was, talking to her and I said, why don't you create your own thing? Like, why don't you create your own movie? Because she was saying how she wanted to be uh a particular person. I give you an example, like she wants to her dream role. I like, what's your dream role? And she said something like, Cinderella, something like that. And, you know what I mean? And I was like, Cinderella. I was like, okay. In back of my mind, because she's never been on like the big screen, but TV, she rules and dominates that since forever. So
Okay.
she said that, and I was like, so why don't you create your own thing? And what she told me was, I don't know where to begin, where to start. That's what she told me.
That's why I mentioned they don't know how to use their resources,
I don't
or
understand
they
that.
don't want to. You know.
But
Am I just ignorant? How do you not know where to start? You just start.
well, it goes back to what I was saying. A lot of them, the motivation's not there no more because you get to come on set, you get called to come on set, you get in a bus, they drive you, chauffeur you, you get to set, you go straight to craft services, they give you VIP treatment and all that. They go like, cameras set, whatever, rolling. You say your lines, you go back, chill. You know what I'm saying? This goes for days, months, years, and that's all you know. You never did anything else. You never networked with the producer, with the no ADs, nobody. You never your shit was like, and then not just that, you came on TV 1,000 times and people worshipped you. You know what I'm saying? So you
That
entirely forgot that somebody wrote that script, somebody casted that, somebody had to go get those cameras, set up the lights. You missed all of that was right under your nose. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta give the Tyler Perry's their props, ultimate props, because he was an actor once upon a time, struggling actor.
But he always started creating first though.
He always was creating, but
He
yeah.
always was
I
creating.
mean, that's like we all
So
start.
comparing him to people is kind of a little different. That's like Michael Jordan.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm saying?
from
That's
the
like
I mean, from the perspective of he's been on huge sets before where he had nothing to do with nothing, but he paid attention to everything and was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then eventually he manifested that. I feel like all actors should be able to go on set and not just sit down and just be there to say your lines, but pay attention to what's going on around you and absorb that like a sponge and be like, I someday this is gonna be me doing all of this. I think as
I
black
mean,
people,
yeah.
we don't do that enough. I think black people, we don't do that enough. Honestly, I see more Asian people and more white people that do this more. I have way many more friends that are Asians that write scripts and go crazy with it, and serious about. And I got this dude that disturbs me all the time. Talk about he has this Korean pop script, crazy K drama type shit, and he wants to get it sold. And do I know anybody? And this dude disturbs me like, I swear to God, like once a month, I get a whole new text from him. And he's very serious, and I read his stuff, and it be some fly stuff, but he's like super ambitious where he wants to actually get it sold to a studio, like type shit,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is cool and everything, but he's one of those, and I don't get enough of us doing that. You get what I'm saying?
No, you right.
Somebody to come and scout us and take us, put us in the league, and not knowing half of the time, a lot of people that I know are benched. A lot of people that I know were doing commercials like for the last couple of years, they haven't been doing commercials no more. They not even doing that shit no more. They at the Forex trading.
right. But
Forex.
also the one thing they're really missing out on is like your first avenue outside of acting into entrepreneurship within film and everything is your manager. If your manager can't help you get going, introduce you to people, get that part of your career going, that's the problem right there. Because that's
But
your
you gotta
manager.
have something to manage, though. That's my whole
But
thing with the whole
no,
manager thing.
it
You need something to manage.
yeah, but
What is there
if
to
you're the
manage?
actor on BET Plus and all, we're only use
Okay,
BET
you're
Plus
saying on that level. Okay,
on that
I'm on the
level.
same page.
I
I'm on the
went
same
back
page.
there, Johnny. I had to go back to where, yeah, but just that, and then the big four happened to damn some Idris. Like when he's on Snowfall, he couldn't just go act in anything else. They had to protect that image, and
Well,
that happens.
because it was a series. That's a whole
Yes,
different beast. But you
yeah,
still should have your next project though. There's no reason why you don't have your next project and you can be making your own project. That's the thing. Just as much as they say, "Hey, you can't just go pop in this over here." Like
right.
you could be writing whatever it is that you want next or you could be producing whatever it is that you want to do next when you're on that level. I'm going to
Or
segue.
put out
Same
like a Okay, go ahead. Segue.
No, go ahead. What was your last thought?
Or put a ad on anything. I'm looking for writers and use your name.
That. Yeah, you could definitely do that. You
And
could
if they're
definitely
not good writers, at least you're starting, and then that's gonna get you going. Once you get on set, hey, writers, where the writers at? You know what I mean?
You know, put
that
put an
part.
ad on right. That
Something.
is kind of hard because right now everybody and their mother think they're a writer. You get like 1 billion.
I get what
Everybody
you're
thinks
saying.
they a writer,
I get what you're
but
saying.
Rob, just do this as an experiment.
look. If you know when we do the open casting call, everybody think they can act.
Yeah.
It can't.
Yeah.
Well,
It can't. That's the prime
Write a
example.
one
there.
page. Write a one pager. And then let's see what the one pager talking about. You know what I mean? Get you some interns. Hey, read this. Like, you know, get you some experienced intern. Like,
interns go
I help.
rip their
Call
hair.
me. I got you. Call me. I got you. I'll be your Maverick Carter.
I'm about doing this, Jew. All right. Segue, same topic ish in the same hemisphere. Right? So a while back, there was a predominant actress. Before we get into this, the statement is true. Black actors and actresses are not getting paid the same rate as their white counterparts. Like that in itself is true. However, right, there are things that you can do at a certain level. A while back, it was a huge movie. I think this was about last year or the year before last. It was a huge movie that went out, and that actress came out, and I'm not gonna say her name because we still support her and love her. It's just for the premise of the conversation. Came out and said that she didn't like the treatment that they were getting on set. I guess they had to drive to set, etc. Right? And because she was at a certain caliber of where she was at in her career, she felt like that shouldn't be taking place, right? And then she went in and was talking about how much certain things cost her, right? Like her hairstylist, and this is outside of the set. Her hairstylist, her makeup stylist, what their managers, the literary agencies, you name it, right? Her whole team cost her a certain amount of money. So at the end, if you're barely getting paid, according to her, right, then you're not really left with that much money. And so this goes back to our point, right? Because then, now I will say this person's name. There is a chick, Vivica Fox, right, who stayed with a check. She stays with a check in multiple capacities. She's no longer getting booked for the $100 million independent state films. We know that that is a fact. That's not happening anymore, right? However, she stays producing her own content. She directs her own content, and she will pop up in an independent film at any given moment, right? On any given Sunday. They asked her for her comments, and she was like, I support all the girlies. However, we ain't broke over here because I stayed doing my own stuff, which goes back into the point, right? At what point in our society, in film, entertainment, etc., do we just start holding each other accountable of saying, hey, if you're in the position where you've been making money, because there are people who are not, so we're not including them, right? You've been making money, right? You cannot sit here and complain about your finances when there are lots of avenues that you can do to either manage your money better, right, or make more money. Like, do we need to start holding folks accountable for that? I don't know. Like, what is the solution there? Or are we really on, you know what, you don't know better? I just think, at what point do you know better? What is it? Is it 40? Is it 50? At what point do we start holding people accountable for where they're at? What are you guys' thoughts?
I feel like one thing that we lack within our culture is financial literacy, and this has been going on forever. It's never a time that you won't hear somebody within our culture had all of this money, and then all of a sudden, years later, it's gone. It's, you know what I'm saying, it's drained, and a lot of that I feel has to do with us not having financial literacy, and that means a lot because when it's all said and done, bills need to be paid one way or the other. You know what I mean? And the more money you make, the more it's crazy because the more money you make, the more crazier the bills get. I don't care what nobody
Yeah.
say. Like Beyonce and them bills, I bet you it's crazy out of this world. You know what I'm saying? So, and that way you can't even judge one person to the next person. What you can judge though is how they have taken care of their money over the past couple of years. So if you made this much money from acting and you've heard from many other people that came before you that listen, I ain't making shit no more. That's enough for you to be like, hold up. Let me go put this in a money market account. Let me go find a CD and put this money in. You know what I mean? Freeze this money. Let me get me in my Roth IRA, put this money in there. You know what I'm saying? Let me, all of these money market accounts, all of these things exist. The information is, we have YouTube now. It ain't like it's a newspaper no more. You know what I'm saying? Where they could hide that
Mhm.
shit and only a certain type of people can read it. We have YouTube now. You can YouTube
You don't even have
all
to
of it.
read it. They'll just tell you. They just tell
Right.
you on YouTube. To your
They
point,
just
Johnny.
tell you straight up and down. So we have to like get that financial literacy like classes to the youth, because as far as like the grown-ups and adults, a lot of people, it's like what they say, you can't teach an old dog new trick. I personally don't really necessarily believe that totally. Think some old people, I've seen some old people sit down and learn shit, you know what I'm saying, and try to get it and try to fix their past, you know what I'm saying? But as far as what we need right now, more than anything, is the knowledge to know how to take care of our money, however it comes. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do, but it's really how do you spend your money and how do you save your money. Like if we don't have that, we're gonna have so many, many, many more, incidents and occurrences
It
like
keeps happening. The my thing is, like you said, it keeps happening. How many of these actors have we heard, like, in the past talk about, "Okay, I don't have any," not even actors. How many successful Black people have we heard make that statement of, "I used to have X amount of dollars, and now I have this amount of dollars." So, like, for me, the first thing that I am doing is saying, "Alright, if I come across this amount, if I ever touch this amount, what is my game plan?" I'm figuring out my game plan from
Game plan
jump. What's my
first.
game plan to keep my money, and what's my game plan to keep making money? I feel like that is just kind of like ABCs though, right? Like this is how you keep it. This is it. And then once you get to a certain level, you have access to all these people. Why are you not asking if you're just A-list why are you not asking Tyler Perry, hey, how do you manage your money? If you ain't got time to show me, can you send me somebody? Or Oprah, how do you do this? Can you send me somebody? Can you get somebody on the phone? Cause I'm lost over here.
that.
Exactly.
Takes communication skills on another level when you get around certain people like these type of people, your anxiety kicks in and you start having these type of memories of knowing them when you were a kid and what they mean to you know what I'm saying? So these type of questions are hard to ask, especially if you only have like 5 to 10 seconds to even blurt, you get what I'm saying, these type of, and try to come up with something intellectual like that. 9 times out of 10, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? But what I could say,
I'll give some grace there. I'll give some grace there. I guess my
Right.
thought process is that's the first thing that I'm
What
asking. If
was
I'm lost, like that's question number one. I'll be like, yo, I got 5 seconds. All you can tell me is no. All I'm in is gonna be in the same position that I'm in. So I'm finna ask. However, I do get that, right? You're excited, you're not normally around these people. Like I'll give that. Right. You wanna chime in?
yeah, but I was thinking and because I was gonna answer, but what was the original question?
So the original question is, at what point do we hold are people accountable,
But like
right, for their
accountable. Right.
financial mistakes or where they're at in life, right, after we have access to all this information?
Yeah. But I think we were still talking about them with being able to create or what have you with that.
It's all in
Yeah.
there.
well,
It's
So
yeah, that's it's,
just to
it's all
kind
in
of
there.
have that together right there, you can take any actor, black actor, on these apps that's in every episode. I'll say if it's 10, they in 6. That person from there on can go to a finance company, show them their career, and get enough money to budget to finance a project or two. So it is
You can go to
communicate
somebody, even if it's not a finance person,
finance.
go
Yeah,
to you can go to an investor. Like
an
you can
investor.
get enough money
Yes.
and then within a range, right? Let's say each of those people could get 100,000 to 200,000 for a project. Like that is realistic. If you're number 1 through 4 on a series, right, that's been on for 5 seasons, you can get 100,000 to $200,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And that you use it right, that's a couple projects. You know what I mean? So you do that, and then of course the thing is, but don't forget when you get on TV, You know what I mean? Even the little things you do, you got the people hit you up. Hey man, what's up? You know, hey, congratulations and blah blah blah. And you like, yeah, let me help. You know, and that helps sometimes. Probably went a little too far. You know, bring the intermediate family closer so you can spend doing something else. You know what I mean? Instead of I'm gonna buy my mama this house. Mama probably didn't need that house right then and there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mama just didn't need to pay rent no more. Yeah. Just pay the
Yeah.
rent for the year and figure it out in a year what you gonna
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, get
And
mama a
not
new
just that, employer people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's so this is something that we
everybody
keep
can't
hearing.
go.
Everybody can't go, right? That's number one.
Right.
Everybody can't go. Obviously,
Yeah.
your mom, somebody like that, maybe your little brother you take care of. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
of course.
Beyond that, homies, my homie gonna have a position. You're going to have to work.
Work.
And that's we keep hearing billionaires regardless, right? Or multimillionaires, NBA players, NFL players saying, when I started just stop doing this and I made people work, then I started seeing the people who really wanted to do
To be
that or who
around.
really
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to manage. LeBron
Yep.
is an excellent example. He put his homies in the position to win so that they could have their own check. I might be kickstarting you, but like I shouldn't be your main driver. You should not be relying on me to take care of you. And I
You
think
shouldn't be calling me, asking me
oftentimes
for no money.
that part, like
That's
Dang.
oftentimes we see that.
But the opposite of that is you not actually helping nobody. And I feel like that's where the karma comes in to where there's a descent. And I feel like a lot of that is probably some of the reasons why most of these people have misfortunes because they never look back to pull people up. You know, you're supposed to
Mhm.
be a way shower. You're supposed to be somebody that's bearing light for others and helping them, especially when you got it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just shut the door like ha 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 and count your money like you know what I'm saying? You the king of the fucking hill. Like it's all you. And then when nobody cares about you no more, they are the ones that's really gonna crack down. They really gonna, you know, make fun of you and make you the butt of their jokes because you never even look back to pull a hand to help or, you know what I mean? There are many people reaching out to you, please, in different forms of fashion. You should have gave them a job. There were many jobs that you had. You know what I'm saying? Your hairstylist shouldn't be freaking Jessica by Jessica on Beverly Hills. It should have been Jessica and your cousin. You know what
It
I'm
should have been Jessica the cousin. No, I agree. I think there's a balance. There's a definite balance.
It
saying?
depends
There's
on
the
where you're
people you
going.
should go.
You feel me?
Yeah,
So, and
yeah.
those are the things that a lot of us do. You know what I'm saying? The first thing we want to do is go buy like Versace type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
Yeah.
star. You gonna see me on this red carpet. Watch this, and then
Right. And then
when it ain't
we
there
have
no
a
more,
black and
you
then there are
know,
black tailors
you
that
feel me?
make suits
Skip
and you don't do
them.
that.
You just skip them because of ego. It's just so much. It's so many factors. If you want to really, it's so many layers of this that I've paid attention to other cultures and they don't do it. Trust me. They like some of them are so like very, very like they know how to take care of their money in a sense where it's like you won't even think they have money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's multi-millionaires and billionaires. They wear a t-shirt. You won't even know. You know what I'm saying?
T-shirts, basic little jogging sneakers, some Hokas, and some $5 sweats,
You would
and I'm driving around in a Prius or a Tesla.
for real,
That
you
really is what it
would
is.
never know. But us,
That part. You gonna know.
this is gonna be glowing and twinkling in the air. Like, what the hell's going
It's
on?
gonna be so much money on that outfit.
You
We
know
got
what
that.
I'm saying? And
We
you
got
from
that.
where you get all these gifts from, bro? Did they borrow you or you bought that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell?
All right. Well, let's segue into this. All right. So you guys are aware I'm trying to build something. I'm in the process of building something. So, mind you, like, and I don't have to go deep into it because we can still have the conversation. So, mind you, in my corporate world, right? My experience in the corporate world was in sales, right? So, like 5+ years of sales experience. So, I've sold products for like startups. I've done like mid-sized companies, and I've also done like Fortune 500 companies, right? And so I've sold services or products on the behalf, right? Gone full sales cycle from like $1 million deals to like thousands to hundreds, right? Majority of those conversations are with white folk. And it's usually pretty simple. And regardless of the size of the deal, it's usually like describe what the product, service, or what you're trying to do. Then they have their objections. Usually it's not that many objections because you've done the job of like researching, laying out what the product or service is. And then the third thing is they're either going to do it or they're not going to do it, right? And then you go to your next steps. Right now, predominantly who I'm on the phones with is for what I'm trying to build is African American people. And my question is, why is it that these have been some of the hardest sales calls? And mind you, it doesn't cost them anything what we're trying to build. So let me add that in there in context, right? Because you could have been like, okay, maybe it's the financial aspect. No, this is costing the people $0. I kid you not. If anything, they have money to gain. Why is it that our people give us the hardest time when we're trying to do stuff, right? But they will gladly go sign up, pay, do whatever for white people. Let's
Right.
talk about that. Right? Why do we give each other the hardest time, or we critique each other the hardest? Like we see a black person in the movie is like, it was missing da 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 da. But you saw that white movie and it had 10 loopholes and you said nothing about it, right? Like, so why do you think that is?
I just think with our people, we like don't want the next person to get there first,
Right.
and or we don't want that person to have it at all because we want it. You know what I mean? So we do that. We do like other nationalities. Like man, they look out for each other. The Latinos, the Asians. You know what I mean? Just throw out a few, man. You go into their stores and they environments. It's them in there. You know what I'm saying? Working and doing things like that. So we have to get better with moving forward with each other, working with each other, supporting each other. So I don't know, man. We as a culture do struggle with that, and it's hard to explain, but it's to a point where it has to be either you don't want the next person to have it and you want it all, but it's enough to share. It's enough for everybody to have. And then the whole going back and get you might get there before me. I'm only on one app, and maybe you gonna get to that other one before me. You know what I mean? Or you gonna get something bigger before me. A lot of people don't know that when they went to the audition for Juice, Tupac wasn't even being auditioned. They told him about that shit. He went with them, and they said, "Hey, you want to audition?" Oh yeah, I'll audition. He ended up being a star of the movie.
I believe it was Tretch that was supposed to be.
Yeah. Somebody like he wasn't even. So look at that. Like,
Right.
hey, homie, come on, homie. I'm going to audition. You coming too? Like,
But that
coming too.
I think a lot of that is the OGs. They knew that they had a better group tank when it came to like than we do. You know what I'm saying? We much more disconnected than they were. Like look at that scenario you spoke of. I think it was Tretch or Omar Epps. Somebody called them like, "Yo, let's go to this movie together. I'm about to go audition," and he ended up having the audition for the movie and got the part. You know what I'm saying? That was what we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We much more, and I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel as if, and I can't really say social media because social media is still a new thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think I think what it is they've created so many reasons to kind of divide us, like via competition. We are so competitive. Like, there's one thing that I really wish we can like destroy, and it's the consciousness of this like top five anything. We've always been doing this forever. So example, in hip hop, who are the top five people? And there's always somebody different. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's this been going on for the last
Even though we do it here.
yeah, but the truth about it is like, why do we have to always have that? I never hear white people say who are the top five rock stars. You never hear who are the top five country singers.
They rank them in Rolling Stone and all them.
Nah, we're
all
not
that.
talking about
They
that.
do in their publications, but you're
Yeah.
saying in conversation.
Now,
conversation.
if this
I
was
don't be around nobody.
if this was in our publications, which we don't have none no more, you know what I'm saying? It's different.
We sold it.
You get what I'm saying? But they find tactics to buy them from us. I don't think we necessarily need to sell them. You know what I'm saying? You could borrow me money on it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going bankrupt, you could borrow me money on it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna pay you back once I get this thing back to normal. How is it that Rolling Stone been around since the freaking Rolling Stones and they in fucking publication? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
they don't. They do exactly what you're talking about. They'll get loans at times where they're at financial hardships, and
Exactly.
they hold.
And why we can't do that? Why couldn't the Vibe do that? Why couldn't Source Magazine do that?
Black people just get out. They
But
just get out.
Don't the Rolling Stone, what's the other big white publication? Rolling
It's
Stones
Rolling
and
Stone, and then it's the
Billboard, right?
what?
Billboard. Those are
Billboard.
the two. But Rolling Stones does every genre.
Exactly, but it doesn't even matter because we
Yeah, that's the difference.
it don't matter because, for example,
We still
the
sell.
Source or the Vibe, like hip hop has many subgenres within it now.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
talking
how
about the
deep,
going to the rock, the pop, the
bro?
I don't matters though.
disco,
I think this is the argument. I don't think it matters though, Ray, because the problem is we could do all that and they'll still treat us like a black publication. So I really don't think
facts.
I don't think that is the point of like expanding. It's not going to give us any more of the share because they're still going to treat us like a share. And I think to Johnny's point, what he's saying is that the white companies get in trouble and they borrow and they hold on to their ownership to the very last drop. And black people, we get in trouble or we see trouble and we sell.
Like, where's the Essence magazine? The Essence magazine, shit like that. You know, I remember growing up and I heard a rap by Jay-Z. He said, I got more black chicks within my covers, within like Essence, you know what I'm saying? Than Essence. And that whole flow alone made me like, where are the Essence magazines? You go through them, there's a lot of black women within them. That was the thing that showed black excellence within women. And that was what kind of modeled a lot of the older women and how they carry themselves. We have nothing for the younger women. So they acting wild out here. You know what I'm saying? 304 in it. And it's okay. And there's nothing to stop them. And what they're looking at is social media, and all that does is amplify it. Because on social media is nothing but it's basically
And
porn.
the crazier you are on social media, the more clicks you get.
The more
And
clicks
so
you
they're
get.
doing the wildest stuff to get attention versus like it didn't used to be like that. It used to be you had to have talent or excellence of some sort, and that's how you
Exactly.
got your attention. And now it's just you just do stuff. Whatever's wild is gonna get your attention.
More
And
clicks.
to your point though, we don't own anything, which goes back to we need our own platforms. We keep going
Right.
back here. We need our own whatever it is, whether it's magazine platforms. We don't even own our own radio stations anymore. So how are we going to dictate what music is being played or give our artists an opportunity to have that? We don't own the music streaming platforms. At Spotify, one of the biggest platforms, don't own that. So how are we going to set the algorithm to show our artists of the the positive artists or the conscious artists or whatever? We can't control any of this. We can't control anything because we don't own anything at all, which is the problem.
And
I 100% agree with what you guys are saying as far as like where is the example? And it used to be that there was an example. Like if we go back to the 90s, like hell, half of these films that I have behind me, right? A lot of them were in mid 90s to early 2000s, right? And you had like the Best Man series. Two can play that game, right? That didn't mean that like every character didn't have a flaw or anything, but it was very well-rounded depictions. You saw black people and successful black people beyond just being an artist or an Instagram chick, right? Like our images of females were different as well as our images of men were different too, right? We saw black people who were middle class, which we call everyday Joe Blows, but still was fly and got the girls and all that. Nowadays, when we show the guys that get the girls, what is it? Strictly just the athletes, the rappers, or the gangsters, right? There's like not really in between. Even back when gangster rap was at its highest, right, which would be the 90s, you still had other images of stuff being shown to black men, right, to kind of balance that out of being like, all right, yes, there's this and there's this and there's this. And that's my only wish is just that why is it that, like I said, we constantly are fighting over scraps? Think about how many white magazines are there? We can't even sit here and name the amount of white magazines there are.
right,
Just go in
facts.
let's go in the Ralph's or something and go to their
And
mag.
But to get to the thing of why we sell. So this how far back I wanted to say this. It was just been going. So why a lot of white people that own their publications were rich already. Daddy was rich,
This
had
is
money, or they was managers like them at
Money
Loud.
managers.
Yeah, they were managers, so they know how to do it. They worked. They was already A&R, moved up to VP at Atlantic, and did all this, and they went to start stuff. Now, for them coming at them with, hey man, he go $7-10 million for your company, ain't nothing to them. They sitting on 3, 4, 5 million before they even started what they doing. So whatever amount it was to them, they're like, I can take this loan right now. Let me get that. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna get it back right. But now you taking, you know what I'm saying? Ray from the hood, he done started this publication, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden got to a point,
No.
man, he's struggling, and he like, do I take that $3 million loan? Do I take that $5 million right here? Man, let me get that 5. I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna do right by this 5. But that's my thing with that.
But
You know?
so let's chime in. Let me hop in there. It's the same thing with films right now. What's going on right now is the Tubi original. We was just talking about with Courtney Grant the llast episode. It's the Tubi original. So, all right, Ray from the Hood. That's the example. Ray from the Hood make that film for about maybe $5,000-$10,000. That's not if he pulled it off and it looked to what Tubi wasn't, right? Tubi came in and look, and let's add in there. We don't know how legitimate the money, the 5 to 10 was either, because that's in the mix too. There are a lot of people who got other backgrounds that are not necessarily the most legal that are hopping into film and entertainment. This has been since the beginning of like
yeah, you know,
Black
Ray money
entertainment.
wasn't legal.
Whether it's been rap, whatever, right? However they got it, they got it. Then they got 5 to 10 that may be illegitimate, but then you got a company coming and they say, all right, here's $150,000. Yeah, it's on a 10-year term. You ain't gonna make not a one dime off of it. To Ray from the Hood, he just flipped 5 to 10 that would may or may not been legitimate into $150,000 that was legitimate. And now he can go take that money. He can go either make some more projects, get a house, hook the homies up, whatever the situation is, he can do that. And so that is that mindset of doing it. But my whole thing is this. What I would love to teach Ray from the Hood is if they gave you $150,000, trust and believe they think they can make $1 million off of it. So you could have made $150,000 potentially every year that you had that film.
Right.
And that's the thing. If they offering you $7 million for the company, trust and believe you could have at least made 20 on your own because they're thinking about how they're going to do it. And so take the loan, regroup, and come back. Maybe it goes back all the way back to slavery. Like, you get what I'm saying? It could go all the way back to slavery, like some of our mindsets when it comes to like finances or having a scarcity mindset of feeling like you're lacking something or you're at the end, you got to get out of Dodge. Because hey, if I hear about white billionaires in this high millionaire stories, they talk about all the time how they made money, lost money, went broke.
Of
I
course.
think and I don't necessarily fool with this dude, but I think Elon Musk was talked about how he went homeless, or not homeless, but dang near homeless like 3 times, like in the process of him building Tesla and everything else. And so I don't understand what it's gonna take for us to get to that point where we stick it out. Stop selling our companies. Stop freaking selling our companies. And it's just
Well, we don't necessarily have a media. Like freaking every place is a market. Like Instagram is a marketplace, TikTok is a marketplace, Facebook that's like graveyard. It's like really for grown people. Nobody's paying attention to that, and it's a marketplace on the back end. So we don't really and as a gossip site. Facebook for Black people is super gossip. You know what I'm saying?
it is definitely gossip.
So we don't necessarily have like our own media platform where we can actually speak to each other. Yo, and trust me, you go to like what's that boy's that president's website? He got one. It's called Truth Speaks or whatever.
Truth Social. Yeah.
Joint. Go over there and see how they talk to each other over there.
They do.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Just having a site, just having a site where you could come as a
Where we
community.
could go talk.
Hey, what's the one? What's the one? It was one, but then it turned all bad. But I think somebody white might have started.
Somebody tried.
What's the one everybody was on that Whack 100?
What was it called again? Golly, it was.
I forgot
Anything with his name on it is
But they
And
turned into some. It turned into some
yeah,
great
it turned some.
stuff.
Yeah, it turned
What was
bad.
it? But that was it.
That was
That was
that
it.
was it. Something like that. Yes,
Yeah. What was it?
black owned.
What was it called?
I said no. I'm saying something like that, but black owned. I don't know if
See
that was
how, but
Then who's
see how the name has even decayed in our memories.
right.
yeah, that part.
That's how bad it
I used to
got.
have that.
Because anybody
Yeah, but
used
who's
to have
good?
it.
My thing is this is who's good. So we identified the problem. You know how I am. Identify a problem. We're gonna
Clubhouse.
attack the Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was it.
It was going up.
That was lit.
It
That
had
was
so
lit.
many dope rooms. It had meditation
Yeah.
rooms. I got into
Yeah.
one day.
Clubhouse is going
The
up.
meditation room, the shit started like 5 a.m. and it went all the way to I had to cut the shit off. I came back.
You like, wait a minute. I just did a quick one.
I'm like, what's going on here? But it was so interesting. And then they had rooms where they taught you financial literacy, where all these
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
own
they
Grant
did.
and all of them was in there, like big boys, investors,
Big boy. Yes.
like angel investors. They was in that joint, dropping gems, and they killed it. I don't know what I think they had like a issue with funding or something. It was kind of weird. And one day and
People
one
don't
night, it was
structure their stuff right though. People don't
I'm
structure.
gonna have to go
People don't
look back
structure.
and see if I need to go see if it even still exists in the app store.
Yeah, we need to. That's the homework. Let's go research what's going on with Clubhouse. But to my point though, it's like, all right, we identified the problem. Black people need their own social media platform. So I got something I'm working on. What do you two need to take on that challenge though? Because that could be hot. I'm not even gonna lie, that could be hot.
No, but the
'Cause
problem is it goes back to stuff like that. For the movie, that's cool and whatever. But when it comes to your whole social media platform, it's one of those type of ones that once you get the wrong people, see, you control the front end and the back end when it comes to the movies. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to social media, where you have to log in and anybody and a mother could log in and put their username and password, it just becomes gangbanger central. And that's what happened to Clubhouse. They start banging in there and oh yeah, he's on right now. He's
I feel
on
like there's
Pico
a
and
way to figure
Fairfax.
it
Like,
out.
you could pull up on him right now. Dude, why? Why are we doing a freaking social media drive-by? You like, what the hell is going on here?
He got
So-
out of pocket. But I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. Maybe
Pretty-
I'm a
pretty-
solution oriented person. I feel like I don't have the capacity to tackle it now. But trust and believe, if we this time next year, if we hit the shit, I will definitely try to tackle it because that is to the point though.
I'm
Of like, I think to this point of this whole episode is like we got to come together. We need to figure out more ways as Black people for us to come together.
Well, we lost our recreational spots where we always used to go, after school spots. We lost all of that. We don't go outside no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? There are no
Yeah, we don't.
arcades that you could go and play in New York. I remember growing up, we had arcades down the street. You go and
Yeah, me
play and meet other people, socialize. Next over was the pizza joint. You know what I mean? We eat pizza, we socialize, get to meet new people from school.
Nasty New York pizza.
You know what I mean? We don't go, I don't know more. Shut up.
Chicago, Terrain, you
No, it
can
ain't.
go
No,
down.
it ain't.
Chicago
No, it ain't.
pizza is soup.
We
Chicago
go.
pizza is
Me and
soup.
New Yorkers go back and forth with this.
What you got? What you
Yeah.
got? The what was it? What's it called over there? Geno's or something? What was it called? What's the joint?
It's deep
Giordano's.
dish.
Yeah,
That
Giordano's
shit
is nasty to me.
disgusting.
Giordano's nasty.
Well, at least
It
you-
literally is
at
a
least you
bowl of
admit it.
soup.
Yeah.
It's a bowl of
Giordano's is the
soup.
worst pizza. No, we don't even eat deep dish. Deep dish is for tourists. Nobody in
Okay.
Chicago eat deep dish.
So what y'all?
All right, well, cause that's stuff
Square
nasty.
Tavern Cut. Square Tavern Cut pizza.
Oh my god,
That's our
we
pizza.
don't
I'ma
even,
go
we
look-
don't even
but-
have the
go
time.
look
to
for
do
Hey,
what's
but
this.
guess what? Uber and Lyft now do own their cars. You can rent them.
You can't. But here we are. What is it? 10, 15
But you
years
saying
later.
it
though?
never-
Yeah,
it
yeah.
evolved into that.
Right. They involve all of them did, but yeah.
But-
yeah.
And the other thing is, to Johnny's point, is we remember church used to be huge. Church was like people would go to church,
Exactly.
and it was
Wait,
civil
Easter-
rights. It was
It's
it was everything, and I really think what happened, and we might have to make a whole episode on this,
for real.
but I really think what happened is the church. There's a separation between church and black people that has been taking place,
I
and
agree.
the church has not been moving at the same place as like black people's awareness
I
and
know what it is.
consciousness.
That's why R&B
Okay,
ain't no. That's why we don't got no more R&B, because if you remember, all the R&B good singers came from the church.
came from church.
You know what I mean? None of these YNs are going to church. So we have
No.
They not.
you know,
They for sure
we have
not.
no
What was your point? What was your point,
R&B.
Ray?
The church got lost when pastors started pulling up in Bentleys and $20,000 suits,
Yeah,
chains,
yeah.
big house out in the hills.
I think
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
beyond that. I think black people are seeing that there is a difference between Christianity and church. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like you know, Christianity is like there's archival things about Jesus being a real person, right? That you could track and like his story. I identify with being a Christian, right? But in the sense of like, you know, Jesus and the resurrection and that portion of it, right? Then there's religion, right? Well, religion is something that was passed down to us through slavery, and we identified that there's a lot of things up in there that they was talking about that just don't add up no more. And what happened is like, wait, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? When you really sit there and read, like, the hell, that don't make no sense. So when you find out that, you know, the book that we've been taught, right, is not the actual full book, right? It's not what actually came over from Africa and like in that portion of it. When you find that out, I think that separation has been so vast for our people, and the church hasn't really caught up to that. There are some churches who have caught up to it, but it's just like this huge separation between what day-to-day life is for us and how we actually operate and treat each other as people versus what the church is, you know, Bible thumping in the Bible. And like I said, we would literally need a whole episode, but the point was that church was a communal place for us where we used to go as black people and talk and like and work together. Martin Luther King came from the church. Malcolm X came from his religious, right? In his
I just
church.
left my church. Yeah.
That part. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I also think that the church also became like a ground for like, you know, spend too much money from the people. And it's like people are suffering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
are
you
You're
struggle
supposed to
to
be giving, not
Yeah.
taking.
Yeah. You like, man, should I pay my tithe
exactly.
this week? And then pastor pull up in that new Benz. You know what I mean?
feel
You
me?
like,
People are really
where did all the money
struggling
go?
out here. And that the struggle is what brought a lot of people into the church back then, because they
Yes.
believed
Yeah.
salvation and Jesus was going to change everything and da 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 da. And back then it worked well for people when people got to love each other.
Well,
Black
they were
people loved
giving
each other
back.
more.
They were giving back though. Churches
Exactly.
was
They
really
were
helping people. They was doing
helping people
school
pay
lunch.
rent,
Exactly.
do all that. Yeah.
They was really doing what
Funerals.
the work
Yeah.
of the church was supposed to be.
Exactly. But it changed. It became a thing where it's like, you know, a lot of people are going broke, you know what I'm saying, and a different kind of other agendas. And it really kind of hurt the black kids. It really the backbone of the black people is the church. The whole soul thing that we speak so much about is we talk of the church. It's from the church, you know,
Mhm.
and soul music. Black people got soul, this and that. All that's from the church that we speak of. But the soul is gone because the church
The
wants
soul
much
is
money.
gone. Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it broke us all up. And now all we talk about is, if he don't got this amount of money, I ain't dating him. If he don't got then I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, can we
Hey,
stop having a 50-50 conversation? Can we stop? Can we stop?
that's an episode.
That's a whole nother.
That is an episode.
That is
That
that is
might
a
be that-
a big portion of an episode. You know
No,
what I mean?
it's not even about the whole conversation. It's about the mindset. It really is the mindset. It's the 50-50 mindset. And we can apply that to film, television, and like we can go
Anything.
across the board
Yeah.
because it's our mindset of like First of all, white people are not talking about this. Like, Asian people are not talking about this. Latina people are not talking about this. White people are talking about how can we make our marriage stronger? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like the Latina people are like, how can we team up as a family and do more things to own?
Mm-hmm.
Asian people, they're decades ahead of us. They're like, all right, we figured it out. We all gonna live in the same house. Grandma gonna take care of the kids. The husband wife gonna work, the kids gonna study. They're not talking about this. This is a Black issue because of where we're at in society. But we can keep going. Let's wrap it up. Final thoughts of the day. What do you want to leave people with? Now, I'm gonna go Johnny. We'll go Johnny first.
Well, I think we should just learn to love one another and help each other out, and you know, share information. Can't be in the darkness for too long. Got to turn that light on. Yeah.
That part. I love that. Ray, what you
Yes.
got?
Just want to leave with our people that let's support each other more. You know, let's support each other, get behind each other, not feel like we have to be better than you, the next person, or anything like that. Let's come together. If we have to split this $100 every time the check come in, let's just split it. You know what I'm saying? So let's not think I need more of that than you, or this, that, and the other. So I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna reach back for you. I'm not gonna watch your movie. I'm not gonna support it. I'm just gonna talk shit about it and do all that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's to a point where it's like we need to just support each other, and we can have our own thing going, how every other culture have theirs going. We just have to come together and be willing to just do that, and like you started off with your first 2 words, you have to love each other. You know what I'm saying? That's it for me.
I echo everything that Johnny and Ray said. I'm going to add into, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. If you see a problem, you need to be the solution to that problem. So do the work. If the problem is, I don't see enough Black people in this certain space, we'll create the space. And do the work and be willing to fail forward in the process, because everybody not gonna be on the same page with you. Everybody ain't gonna support it, but try to be that solution. And then as Black people, again, we got to support each other. So instead of tearing down whatever it is, even we talked about fan base, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get the app. We're gonna support the brother, and then hopefully in the process we get it together and we can help them get it together. That part, because somebody is trying their best to create a solution. I would much rather be supporting of that solution than be a part of the problem. Solid episode today, man. We could keep vibing for a whole nother hour. I love that.
Right.
We ended on that note, but there's always more to say than great. Next week, we should have another guest. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, hit us up. Any one of us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever, right? Find us. We're happy to bring you on as a guest. And then from there, call us, beep us if you want to reach us. We love y'all. See you next time.